So it seems that you are not very enthusiastic, not quite happy, because the topic that we are going to have today is quite serious. Okay, it's about crime and punishment. Okay, so why do we put these two words together, crime and punishment? Simply because if you commit a crime, and then you will be punished, right? You will be punished. Okay. And actually, say we have very different types of crimes, right? And also different ways of punishments, right? Different ways of punishments. So that is our focus. First of all, we will try to look at the crime, and then we will try to talk about the punishment. So, before we listen to a story about a crime, first of all, we'll try to learn a little bit about a crime and a punishment, especially the terms. First, we'll look at a joke. A kid selling newspapers in a busy corner in New York City was yelling, shouting, "Read all about it. 29 people swindled. 29 people being cheated, or 29 people fooled." A man stopped and bought a newspaper from him. After reading the headline, he said, "Hey, there's nothing in here about 29 people being swindled." "Read all about it," shouted the newsboy. 30 people swindled. Right. So actually, from this joke, what can we learn? That if you buy a newspaper or if you try to read the headlines from internet, actually crime is quite attractive to us, right? Okay. You want to know how people are swindled or how people are fooled. Okay. So then we'll try to look at different types of crimes that we have. Okay. We have various kinds of crimes, such as we have theft, right? We have theft, and also we have bribery. Everyone knows bribery, right? Okay? No? Bribery means if you want to get something done and then actually you don't have the right or power, then you try to talk to some people in charge, and then you give them some presents or gifts, and then they will say, "Oh yes, I agree, you can do that now." Okay, so that's we say bribery. And also we have corruption. Corruption will mean those leaders, who are not, say serving the people, who are not doing their jobs, taking their responsibilities. And also we have burglary, and also robbery, and also drug trafficking, or we can also say drug dealing, right? Drug dealing, drug trafficking, and also we have smuggling, and also kidnapping, and also rape, and also murder, So we can say that we list all the different types of crimes from those not very serious ones until the most serious ones. And here we need to pay attention to one word, that is drug trafficking. Do you find something very special here? Trafficking? Because the word traffic, it can be used as a verb. Traffic or transport or deal. But if you want to add something after traffic, like you want to add ing or you want to add ed, you will need to add, first of all, a K here. A K here. So before you add ing or ed, why do we do this? If you don't add the K, that means the pronunciation will be different. That means trafficking, right? So we put the K in order to keep the sound. So then we know that all different types of crimes. Okay. So then if someone commits any of these crimes, and he will be punished. Can you think about some of the punishments? Oh yes, I hear some girl says death. Right, okay, death. For death is a punishment for what crimes? Murder, right? Murder, drug trafficking, and maybe for bribery or corruption. No. A serious. Okay, or you say if the amount of money reaches a certain degree, okay, and even maybe for smuggling. Okay, of course it depends what you are smuggling, right? Okay, so we say a death, and what else? Yes, okay, prison, or you say jail, but for the word we will say imprison. Okay, imprisonment. Okay, we will have death, imprisonment. Okay, that's a noun. Okay, imprisonment, and also exile. Exile, like you are no longer welcome in China anymore. Okay, do not ever try to come to our country anymore. Okay, so exile, and also we have fines. Okay, fines. Like if you break the traffic law, and then like if you are not driving, if you are riding a bike, and at the same time you try to use an umbrella, and then you will be punished. Okay, and then you will have to pay the fines. How much do you have to pay? 200? I don't think so. Actually, like 5 yuan. Okay. But if you want to cross the streets, and then if the light is still red, and then you try to cross the street, how much do you need to pay? The fines from 20 to 50. Okay. From 20 to 50. Okay. That's a lot of money, right? Okay. So that's we say the fines. Okay, fines. And for some crimes, if you are paying the fines, you don't need to go to prison. And if you don't have the money, you will need to go to the prison. Okay? And also removal from public office, like say bribery or corruption, right? You will need to be removed from public office. And also disqualification from holding an office. Okay? Similarly, like you will lose your position, okay, in this office. So we have all these different types of crimes and the punishments. Okay? So next, we will try to learn a crime. Okay? To look at a crime and say the details of a crime. Okay? So the story that we are going to listen to is called Hobbist. Okay? Hobbist. We all know hobby, right? Hobby. And then if we add IST, that means a person who has the hobby of doing something, okay, a hobbyist. Okay. So this story is written by Frederick William Brown, one of the best-known American crime and mystery writers. So he's specialized in writing crime and mystery writers. And also he's famous because he wrote television plays for Alfred Hitchcock. Everyone knows Hitchcock, right? Hitchcock was famous for the suspense movies of the 20th century. Suspense movies? 悬疑电影, okay, suspense movies. So we can guess. The story that we are going to listen to is not that simple, right? It's not that simple because the author is good at writing mystery and crime stories. So there might be something mysterious, okay, in our story. Okay? But we will try to learn more about a crime story. So a crime story, we will need to have some basic elements, just like a common story. Okay? We need to have the prospective murderer. Why do we say the prospective murderer? Why don't we simply say the murderer or the killer? Because before the crime, this person is not a murderer. right? So we say that's a prospective murderer or the possible future murderer, okay? The person who wants to murder. And also we have the poison here, which serves as the weapon that will cause death. So for a crime story, we need to have the murderer and also the weapon. But of course, we need to also have the victim, right? We need to have the victim too, okay? The intended victim, and also the clever detective, okay? The clever detective. Okay? So here we have all these 4 roles, okay? And say for the detective here is played by the druggist who prevents the murder. Okay? So the druggist, we know drug. Druggist means someone who's selling the drugs, or someone who is, who has the expertise in dealing with medicine. Okay? And then we'll try to learn more, because for this kind of story, we should understand that even if we read the story with our eyes, sometimes we cannot understand, right? Okay. But what we are going to do is to listen to the story and then try to understand. That will be more difficult. So we need to prepare, okay, before we listen to the story. Okay. So like all good crime stories, the story has an unexpected twist. Okay. So we don't expect the rumored seller of poison. Okay. Now the rumored seller of poison, the seller of the poison, the rumored, that means that everyone is saying he is the person who sells the poison, right? So that's the seller. Turns out to be someone whose hobby is to prevent murder. And the prospective murderer not only fails to get the poison he wants, but is himself poisoned and has to pay a high price for an antidote. If you are taking a poison, you need to have an antidote to cure, okay? To make you healthy again, okay? Antidote. Okay? So this is what the story is about. Okay? So we have the rumored seller of the poison, but he turns out to someone who stops the murder. Okay? And then we say the prospective murderer who tries to kill others. He fails to get the poison, and he is himself poisoned. Okay? And then he has to pay a high price for an antidote. Antidote in Chinese? 解毒药. Okay, an antidote. So that is the story is about. Okay? So it's just some of the basic elements of the story. Okay? And then we try to listen to the story, and then we'll try to answer the questions that we have on page 174. Okay? So here we have 9 questions. We have 9 questions. And we should say that some of them are really difficult. Okay? Some of them are really difficult for us to try to get the answers. Because for suspense, or we say for a crime story, a suspense story, just imagine, if you are going to read aloud the story, what tone you will use? How will you try to read aloud a crime story? In a very suspense way, or say try to make it really mysterious, right? So actually the tone that we are going to listen to is quite different from the normal tone. Okay? And then we'll try to look at the questions we have. Where did the story take place? We know that for a story we need to have the place, right? Where? And then what? What was Sandstrom's intention in seeing the druggist? Okay. So he was trying to do. And then number 3, what did the druggist offer Sandstrom to drink? And what did Sandstrom bring with him? What did the druggist ask Sandstrom to write down? And here we see some change, right? So if you want to buy something, and then what do you need to write down? And then, when would the poison in the coffee start to work according to the druggist? So actually with this question, we can guess the answer for number 3 question, right? what did the druggist offer Sandstrom to drink? Possibly the coffee, right? Because in number 6 we have the coffee. And then number 7, how much did the druggist charge for the antidote? And then, what will the druggist do with Sandstrom's confession? And 9, okay, what was the druggist's hobby? Okay. So here we have several new words, and then we'll try to look back at some of the new words. We really need to explain them so that we can try to catch the main idea. Okay. So first of all, if we turn to look at page 171, we have hobbyist, and also we have druggist, druggist, a person who is skillful in making medicine, druggist. And then we have prescription, prescription. Okay. So we know that doctors, they will write prescriptions, right? Okay. And for some medicines, you cannot buy them if you don't have a prescription, right? Okay. So here we have the prescription pharmacy. Pharmacy means a drugstore, okay, pharmacy. We have the prescription pharmacy. And then we have some adjectives. We have gnome-like and a noun. Okay. So just imagine what kind of person it is. Okay. If it is gnome-like and a noun, and then we have undetectable poison. Okay. So it's a perfect poison to kill others, right? Because it's undetectable. And also, okay, we try to look at antidote. Okay. The antidote, if you have the poison, you have taken the poison, you have to buy the antidote. And then we'll try to look at two nouns, double cross and the blackmail. Okay, double cross and the blackmail. And then, okay, so if you're afraid of double cross or blackmail, then what will you bring with you? You will have a pistol, a small gun, okay, to protect yourself. Okay. And then we have bluff, bluff. Okay. So when you're trying to frighten others, especially, okay, say like to pretend that you are stronger, cleverer, braver, etc., than one actually is. Okay. Bluffing. Okay. Don't think that I'm bluffing. You will die, like very soon. Okay. So believe it or not, okay, your life is at your own hands. Okay. Just for example. Okay. And then we have confession. Okay. Confession. Okay. So we know that for criminals, they need to make a confession, right? And also for people to go to the church, they will also make confessions, right? Okay. So, and also we have homicide. Okay. Homicide. Okay. There's a very formal way for us to say murder. Okay. Murder. Homicide. And the last phrase, on the homicide detail. On the homicide detail. If we say that someone is on the homicide detail, we mean that someone is working at the police department that deals with murder. Or you say the murdering department. Okay, so on the homicide detail. Okay. So with all these new words and phrases, then we'll try to listen to the story and we try to answer the questions. We try to answer as many as we can, but some of them we'll need to really pay a very keen attention in order to get the answers. Okay, so we try to at least we try to understand the story, what the story is about. Okay.
I heard a rumor, Sandstrom said, to the effect that you... He turned his head and looked about him to make absolutely sure that he and the druggist were alone in the tiny prescription pharmacy. The druggist was a gnome-like, gnarled little man who could have been any age from 50 to 100. They were alone, but Sandstrom dropped his voice just the same. To the effect that you have a completely undetectable poison. The druggist nodded. He came around the corner and locked the front door of the shop, then walked toward a doorway behind the counter. I was about to take a coffee break, he said. Come with me and have a cup. Sandstrom followed him around the counter and through the doorway to a back room ringed by shelves of bottles from floor to ceiling. The druggist plugged in an electric percolator, found 2 cups and put them on a table that had a chair on either side of it. He motioned Sandstrom to one of the chairs and took the other one himself. "Now," he said, "tell me, whom do you want to kill and why?" "Does it matter?" Sandstrom asked. "Isn't it enough that I pay for?" The druggist interrupted him with an upraised hand. "Yes, it matters. I must be convinced that you deserve what I can give you. Otherwise," he shrugged. "All right," Sandstrom said. "The whom is my wife. The why..." He started the long story. Before he had quite finished, the percolator had finished its task, and the druggist briefly interrupted to get the coffee for them. Sandstrom finished his story.
The little druggist nodded. "Yes, I occasionally dispense an undetectable poison. I do so freely. I do not charge for it if I think the case is deserving. I have helped many murders." "Fine," Sandstrom said. "Please give it to me then." The druggist smiled at him. "I already have. By the time the coffee was ready, I had decided that you deserved it. It was, as I said, free. But there is a price to pay for the antidote." Sandstrom turned pale, but he had anticipated not this, but the possibility of a double cross or some form of blackmail. He pulled a pistol from his pocket. The little druggist chuckled. "You daren't use that. Can you find the antidote?" He waved at the shelves. "Among those thousands of bottles? Or would you find a faster, more powerful poison? Or if you think I'm bluffing, go ahead and shoot. You'll know the answer within 3 hours when the poison starts to work." "How much for the antidote?" Sandstrom growled. "Quite reasonable. $1,000. After all, a man must live. Even if his hobby is preventing murders, there's no reason why he shouldn't make money out of it, is there?" Sandstrom growled and put the pistol down, but within reach, and took out his wallet. Maybe after he had the antidote, he'd still use that pistol. He counted out $1,000 in $100 bills and put it on the table. The druggist made no immediate move to pick it up. He said, "And one other thing, for your wife's safety and mine, you will write a confession of your intention, your former intention, I trust, to murder your wife. Then you will wait till I go out and mail it to a friend of mine on the homicide detail. He'll keep it as evidence in case you ever do decide to kill your wife, or me for that matter. When that is in the mail, it will be safe for me to return here and give you the antidote. I'll get you paper and pen. Oh, one other thing, although I do not absolutely insist on it. Please help spread the word about my undetectable poison, will you? One never knows, Mr. Sandstrom. The life you save, if you have any enemies, just might be your own."
How do you like the tone? Quite mysterious, quite difficult for us to catch, right? Okay. But actually, some of the questions are quite easy, right? Like, how much money do we need to pay for the antidote? $1,000. And how long is the poison going to take effect? 3 hours, exactly 3 hours, or less than or more than 3 hours? Actually, the answer will be within 3 hours. Within 3 hours, no more than 3 hours. Okay? And actually, we have some other questions. Like, first of all, the first one is easy too. Okay? Where? The place. Say if we want to buy the drug or the medicine, the druggist. So the place is called pharmacy, right? The pharmacy. And the pharmacy is a very special one because it is a prescription pharmacy. Okay? It is a prescription pharmacy It's not a common pharmacy, okay? Because if you want to buy medicine in this pharmacy, you have to bring with you the prescription of your doctor. Okay? So that is the prescription pharmacy. Okay? Or you can simply say in a drugstore. Okay? It will be correct too. Okay? In a drugstore. Or in a place where you can buy medicine. Okay? So just if you try to get the correct meaning. And then, okay, what was Sandstrom's intention in seeing the druggist? He was trying to buy some poison. And the poison is undetectable, right? Okay. So he wanted to buy some undetectable poison from the druggist. Okay. Undetectable poison, okay, from the druggist. To do what? To kill his wife. Okay, to kill his wife. Okay. And then, okay, the third one actually you already know the answer, right? What did the druggist offer Sandstrom to drink? A cup of coffee, right? A cup of coffee. Okay. And what did Sandstrom bring with him? A pistol. A pistol. Okay. So, if say you are going to meet someone you know that he might be the murderer and he sells undetectable poison, you have to bring something to try to protect yourself, right? Okay. A pistol. Okay. Of course, here we don't want to add things like the wallet, some money, or even you say a shirt, okay, like a tie or some shoes. Okay, you don't want to mention that. Okay, so here we have the pistol, okay, a pistol, and then okay, we have the twist. Okay, a pistol means a small gun, Okay. And then what did the druggist ask Sandstrom to write down? Here we come the twist. Okay, to write down the word will be. We have the new word that is the confession, right? The confession. Okay. A confession of his intention to poison his wife. Okay. So here is kind of strange, right? Because we know that the druggist, actually he himself is the person who prevents the murders, right? So he's asking this Sandstrom to write down this confession, okay, okay. And then we'll try to look at number 6 actually within 3 hours, and also for the antidote $1,000, and how much for the poison itself? Okay, antidote $1,000, and the poison is free. Okay. The poison is for free. Okay. I have already given it to you. It's in your coffee, right? Okay. So the poison is free. Okay. If I believe that, okay, you deserve the poison, and I will give it to you. Okay. And so it's for free, but for the antidote, okay, you have to pay $1,000. And what would the druggist do with Sandstrom's confession? Say, we know that Sandstrom, he had a pistol, right? So, why wasn't this druggist afraid of the possibility that Sandstrom might want to kill him? Right? So he was saying that, are you able to find the antidote yourself? Right? Because in my drugstore, in my pharmacy, there are thousands of the bottles, right? And then maybe you can find some more poisonous, okay, right, antidote, okay? And then you will be dying very soon. Okay? But what if the druggist gives Sandstrom the antidote, and then Sandstrom is trying to kill him, right? Okay, with the antidote. So actually, this druggist was asking the Sandstrom to write this confession of intention, and then he would send it to a friend on the homicide detail, so that the policeman could have the evidence. Okay, and then if possibly in the future Sandstrom wanted to kill his wife, all the druggists, okay, and then the police would have the evidence. So he was not afraid at all. Okay, say that you dare not kill me, you dare not kill me. Okay. And then we say that the druggist hobby was preventing murderers. And actually the last paragraph is kind of very ironic. Okay. Say, the druggist was talking to Sandstrom. Do you mind spreading the words for me that I sell undetectable poison? Okay? Because you might have enemies yourself. And then if you tell others that I sell that undetectable poison, and then they may come to me, right, to try to buy the poison. And then I will stop them. And then possibly those people, they want to kill you. And then I save your life. Right? So that's quite ironic. Everyone understands, right? If you have the enemies, and then they want to kill you, they come to me, and I will stop him. Right? So then you will not be killed. Okay? So this is kind of the unexpected ending that we have. Okay? So for this, or you say for this crime, we know that in the story, Sandstrom, he didn't kill his wife, right? But what if he killed his wife? What do you think the punishment would be? So a murder. You know that for murder, the punishment would be in prison for his lifetime. Or we say that we say the life sentence, right? The life sentence. But if, say, we determine that this is a very serious murder, and then it really causes those bad social effects, and then possibly we want to give him the capital punishment, or we say the death penalty, or we say the capital punishment, or death penalty. Okay. But from your reaction earlier, your earlier reaction, okay, we can know that actually even if we know that Sandstrom killed his wife, so you don't want him to be punished by this, say, death penalty. You only want to put him in prison for his whole life. Right? Yes or no? So if, say, for this capital punishment or death penalty, we say that it's a very controversial. Or we say it's a punishment that we cannot tell for sure whether we should have it or not. Especially, we know in the whole world we have so many countries, and in some countries actually they don't have this capital punishment, right? But in some other countries they do have it. So what if some people are talking, say, we should abolish, we should stop the capital punishment in China. What do you say? Will you agree? Yes? Why do you agree?
Because the capital punishment is too cruelty.
Too cruel.
Yes.
It's a cruelty, right?
And the murder the murder did a sin, and he must make some contribution to the society.
Thank you. Okay. So you are speaking for the God, right? Okay. Like yes. Okay. Thank you. Okay. So the criminal or the murderer, he committed a crime or he made a sin, right? Okay. Or he had a sin. Okay. We all know that everybody is sinful, right? Everybody is sinful. A sin. Okay. Okay. 一个罪恶. Okay. So he had a sin, and we had to give him a second chance, right? To correct it, and also to try to make contributions to the society. You cannot simply kill him. So you all agree that if, as a murderer, if someone kills another person, and then he can still live. Do you all agree? Do you all agree with him? How many of you will say, I agree? Of course, if say, do you have exactly the same opinion? Why? Yes? Okay, good. Okay. So, why do we want to stop or abolish capital punishment? It's true that, say, the society with the development of, we say, the civilization, right? We tend to care those people, even if they are criminals, more. Okay? They are human beings. They just make mistakes, right? We all make mistakes. And also we know that for capital punishment, okay, we have different ways. Like in history, we had those very terrible electrical chairs. Have you heard of that? Okay, and that's really cruel. Okay, and then gradually we have some other ways like using pistols or maybe guns, right? Okay, and it's kind of, okay, it really happened that once a criminal kind of avoided the death simply because the shooter missed twice. Okay, and then gradually we come to care more about the criminal, the way he is going to die, and then we will use, like in our story, the undetectable poison. Okay, we are not sure whether it is undetectable or not, but it's a poison. Okay? It's a poison to try to kill in a peaceful way, in a very peaceful way. Okay? So this is for those who think that we should abolish, we should stop capital punishment, right? So everyone agrees in our class. Is there anyone in our class who says that we should still have the capital punishment? Just imagine if everyone knows that no matter what you do, you will never be killed by law. And then do you think that there will be many more people out there who are killing others at will? Okay, how do you think?
What if you kill Martin Luther King and and if you are not sentenced to death, but it's a quite serious issue in to the society. And then we can take serious.
Yes, okay. We do know that if a murderer is out there.
Yes, he killed an important person, and then.
Yes.
And what?
Yeah, what would the result be,
yes.
Right? Just for example, like if a murderer is not sentenced to death, and then, like, he is going to kill someone who are really important to us, like Martin Luther King, or like President Lincoln. So how are we going to determine, like, if he just kills a common person or he kills someone really important to us, and then he's still going to live? And just imagine that if, I hope this will not happen, but if someone in your family or your friend is unfortunately killed, and then do you want the murderer to suffer, or we say to try to, we say that to eat the fruit, right? So it's really difficult for us to do. Of course, it's very nice for us to think that we should give everyone a second chance. But we do know that society, especially in our country, do you think criminals, say if someone comes into our classroom and says, "Hi everyone, I want to be friends with you. I just come out of jail." Will you still be friends with him? And actually we tend to be afraid of them. But we should understand we shouldn't think that way. Right? We should give them a second chance. It's always true. Okay? But we need to double think before we make a decision like, does everyone deserve a second chance? Some people don't, right? We say some people, they were born killers. We never know what will happen if you just let them out there. Okay? So it's really, we say, a controversial issue. That's why we say that. But we do know that our country, we still have this in law. But some other countries, they don't have this capital punishment. And we never know that whether or not we should try to abolish this simply because, say, we are more civilized. Okay? So some people believe that we should never, ever kill anybody out of any reason at all. Okay? But it's really a controversial issue for us to discuss. So if you are a law enforcement officer, and then you will say that we should never abolish. We should never abolish, right? Because we want the laws to be enforced, right? Okay. Why do we make laws? Because we want them to be enforced, right? If they are not enforced, then they are useless, right? But if, for example, you are a social worker, and then you have been spending time with those criminals, and you find out they are simply the same as us, okay? Just the only difference is that they make mistakes, okay? Maybe terrible mistakes. Okay? So it's, say, from different perspective, we can have really very different opinions on this. But of course, we don't have the power to decide whether we should keep or we should abolish. But it's actually also important even if we don't have the power. Remember last time we talked about opinion poll? Okay, so we do need to know, what if someday in the future, our government is trying to find out what we believe, and then you will need to make a decision for you. But this is just for us to think about, especially humanity, and other, especially those people who commit crimes. All right, so that's for this topic, crime and punishment, and for homework. Let's try to finish all the additional and home listening exercises in this unit. And since we said that this is the last unit that we have in this textbook, so what we will try to do is that we try to go through all the topics, and then try to review all this textbook, especially for some of those listening exercises that if you haven't finished. Okay. All right, so that's all we will have for this unit, and thank you for this opinion sharing, especially for this very controversial issue, and so that's all we will have for today, and see you then. Thank you.